But Judy, whilst we're looking after God's creation as we should, in terms of growing and improving the worshipping experience within those parishes that are going on that journey, what have you seen? What are the differences? Okay, you've got the certificates and you've got the medals, but what's the real difference that you've made to the community and your parishes?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because I did what the presentation I made at the last year's diocesan environment session that we had at Stowmarket. I really absolutely passionately feel that this is missional work. The missional opportunities within using the framework of Eco Church are just threaded through in so many ways. So they're absolutely aligned with the 5 marks of mission. And they are absolutely aligned with the diocesan goals, because there are opportunities to engage youth from uniformed organisations, from schools, to bring them into the church, into the churchyard, young families to have days when they can engage with nature, to engage some of our older members of the congregation almost in a sort of a grandparenting role to bring better and more varied engagement with the wider community. In terms of the 5 marks of mission, yes, the 5th mark is to treasure what we've been given in God's creation. But if you look at everyone before that, you look at the opportunities to teach, to tell of our faith and why we're doing this. You look at the fact that so much of the inequity in the world actually rests in this imbalance of power. Yep. And the damage that we do to the environment. However, yes, if we take it back right within the diocese, there again, we have our growing in God goals. We can align our worship with praying maybe more effectively for the world, for creation. And it may just start off as coming and helping us count the wildflowers in the churchyard. However, that's the opportunity for the conversations that actually make people understand that we're not two-headed monsters, we're real people. We happen to have a passion for Christ, and this is one of the ways in which we express that.
And God's creation is such a wonderful place to start having those conversations. I've been out filming for the last 2 years, meeting school children in churchyards that are building bug hotels, looking at the heritage of our buildings and how we can make them more fit for purpose, more comfortable to use. I've seen engagement with whole villages, with bee trails, people having actively part of a project that's happened at the church. And it just seems like a complete no-brainer to me that creating a space for you to be able to worship that is better and can be used all round and is cheaper to run, that side of things, actually looking after the building that you've got and making it as stable and durable for the future as possible, but actually using those fantastic spaces that so many of our churches have in the countryside, but also in the town, and actually using that as a community space, not just in the building but around the building. And I totally have seen how that environmental message has brought people closer to the church. So Judy, thank you so much. How will the environment and will that side of things be reflected in your week of morning prayer?
Well, and it may well be that can, it flags up different things that can highlight some of the global engagement, which is a part of local and global engagement. So while some of what you've touched on just now is talking about engaging the local populations, there are some really creative things going on out there at the moment, such as the journey of the Coat of Hopes, which has walked 2,000 miles from New Haven up to COP26 in Glasgow, and then subsequently has walked across from Glasgow to Edinburgh, down the East Coast, and came through parishes in our deanery last April. And then I was able to borrow that coat and bring it into church and let people engage with that particular very visual sign of people's hopes and wishes for positive change in the climate, and what they fear will be lost if we don't start getting it more right soon.
Yes.
And then sort of threads through creation as well, which beautiful panels that we did have in the diocese at the cathedral, that also gave very pictorial ways in which to engage people in conversations about creation, its beauty and the wonder it can instill in us.
Well, we really look forward to joining you for morning prayer.